At Threshold, our focus is on the way in which we human beings communicate and work together, and that inevitably takes us into the fascinating area of story. Welcome to this latest series of How to Work with Humans. At Threshold, we train business leaders in the art of getting the best out of human beings. And here we explore the standout topics from our recent sessions and the science behind them. To succeed as a leader at any level, you need to understand how to be a storyteller. First, simply take a look at what happens here and think about what's going on. We've run this exercise with numerous leadership groups in Europe, America, Asia, and Africa. It's amazing what we read into things. In reality, it's simply a series of geometric shapes moving around on a 2D background, but almost all of us see so much more in it. Now, this was an exercise developed by a psychologist in the 1950s, but it's still as relevant today. Instinctively, based on just a few simple strands, our minds shape things into whole stories. What we see before us constitutes the essential ingredients of a story. The shapes have wants and motivations. There are characters. People frequently describe one of the characters as a bully. There are obstacles or barriers. There are choices, and those choices have consequences. Now, have a look at these images. What do they suggest to you personally? What thoughts, words, or characteristics spring to mind? And think of an adjective that captures what each says to you. Our minds are fine-tuned to sense the pattern of human faces. That's natural. But it goes a step further. Once we sense the pattern of a face, we can't help but give that face a personality, a backstory, a mood that he or she is in for the day. To be human is to be a story maker. This is how we give coherence to the world around us, and we humans crave coherence. The mental module for story seems to be hardwired by evolution into our neural circuitry. What we often say to leaders in organizations is this: your role as a leader and communicator is to be a storyteller, to keep shaping the narrative in a way that works for you. And remember, if you're not shaping the narrative, people will unconsciously do it for themselves, and not always in a way that works for you. Your people want a complete story, and if you don't give them one, they will complete the story for themselves. Too often, we come across a CEO who wants to drive change with a sense of urgency. They go out with the message, we must change or die. They talk about the need to create a burning platform. They present the data that shows the compelling need for change in order to survive. Now, all of these things are important, but they're only half of the narrative. Leaders need to give people a story to help them imagine what the change might look like, how their organization will look and feel and be different in the future. As we often point out at Threshold, it's not enough to refute the current story. You need to replace it with an alternative, better story. We only abandon a story when it's replaced by something more compelling. As a leader, you're a storyteller. The only way to get people to let go of their existing story is to give them a better alternative. So whether it's your team, your department or function, or your organization, what story are you telling people about it? And what are the tangible things that make it feel real? Because if you're not, people are creating their own story. To find out more about Threshold and how we can help leaders in your organization to get the best out of human beings, go to threshold.co.uk. You can watch the rest of our How to Work with Humans series on our channel. Do share and subscribe.